Hello, good afternoon. This is Foster Wusu. I'm your host for today, which is July the 4th, a very special day in United States. And we are just fortunate to be on this call this afternoon. This is the Immunotec 2 p.m. business opportunity call, and we're going to give you a quick overview about our company. And shortly after that, we're going to have the opportunity to interview a gentleman that I admire among many reasons, and he's going to share with us about his experience. But we are a network marketing company. The company is called Immunotec, and we've been in business since 1996. Myself, as your host, I've been with the company since 1999. I'll tell you a little bit about myself briefly, but we are here today for you, our guests. As a matter of fact, every opportunity we get to share what we have. You know, there's nothing complicated about what we do. So our target audience with people who want and need optimum health. Very, very simple. That's the target audience. People who want and need optimum health. And the second audience will be people who want and need extra cash. Every time we talk about the extra cash, who comes to mind is my wife. In our home, we keep it very simple. I'm the Minister of Labor. She's the Minister of Finance. I make the money. She spends. There's a challenge. We're trying to see who's going to win. So far, I'm not going to tell you who is winning, but it's been exciting. And this company has offered us something that I believe most people will want to have. Before I joined Immunotec in February of 1999, I used to take Tylenol number 3. To control an acute back pain, and this was going on for about 5 years. Fortunately for me, today it's been a good 18.5 plus years that I'm not dependent on any prescription medication. I don't take any medication. Another thing that I believe is important to me personally is in the last 19 years, this company has offered me something that my good friend and mentor in this business, Keith Hooper, was alluding to earlier about a video that will become available to some of you if you choose, is the power of network marketing. So let me state very briefly what this is all about. This is a business where you put in the time, the concentrated effort on a part-time basis for about 2 to 5 years if you do it right. And I use the word if. So every word that I use, I'll be very careful in how I pick my words. Everything that we do, there's a system in place. And when you do it right, 2 to 5 years investment can set you free financially. How do I know this? Well, in my case, February 3rd of 1999 was when I embarked on this journey. And I can say to you that from that time on, I haven't had a job. I haven't worked for anybody, and I am speaking as an immigrant to this great land here in Canada. And to say that you haven't worked for anybody in the last 19 years is humbling for me to share with you on the call. You will not understand it until you get to understand truly what freedom is. So Immunotec has offered me that, and it's all because it falls into this concept of network marketing, where the benefit is equal to what Robert Kiyosaki has explained in his book, The Cash Flow Quadrant. You can have the opportunity to be an employee, and you trade time for money. You can also be a small business owner, like a dentist, a mechanic, and so forth. And at the end of the day, it's not bad. You're still trading time for money because no dentist or a mechanic makes money in their sleep. Every single person who earns money as an employee or a small business owner is limited to how much they can earn because we only have 24 hours a day. So these are the people on the left. The people who want to move to the right are looking at what we have. Robert Kiyosaki talks about the S and the E. They're trying to migrate to the right because on the right you have the B, which is business people like us who understand the power of leveraging. We leverage our time, we leverage our talent. And one of the things that Keith talks about is the part that I like about this industry where There are certain people on this call this afternoon that you won't get to hear them because today and this hour is going to be just pretty much myself and Tom talking. But there are certain individuals in the background that if it wasn't because of this wonderful industry, most of us could not afford to pay them for their talent and their experience that they bring to the table. But in network marketing, you get the opportunity to leverage that. And I guess that's how I became successful, because I'm able to tap into those. So in our business, you can leverage both time and talent. So let me explain the time here. For example, if I'm a business person, which I am, and I put in 10 hours today, and I have 10 people put in the same 10 hours, collectively we have produced 110 hours. If I'm the owner of the business, I get to leverage 110 hours. You ask yourself, there's only 24 hours in a day. How do you leverage 110 hours? Well, that's the power of leveraging concept. The other thing that I get to leverage is talent. And I mentioned briefly on the fact that there are certain people that you and I cannot afford to pay or hire. In network marketing, you get the opportunity to partner with those. So that brings me to how I'm going to introduce this gentleman. He's been excited about our company. And as I mentioned, Immunotec was established in 1996, but before then, there was a research that took place back in 1978 by a wonderful doctor by the name Dr. Gustavo Bonos and a team of researchers who embarked on a study that eventually led to the discovery of our flagship product called Immunotec. Immunotec does a very simple thing. You ingest this product. It raises a molecule in the body called glutathione to keep the immune system healthy. In a nutshell, if you do that on a consistent basis, it makes you stronger, smarter, and healthier. So this afternoon, we are fortunate to have a fellow that he is straight as fiddle, and today he's going to be answering some questions to benefit those of you who are probably listening for the first time today. He's been on the product for a while, and I am going to ask you a couple questions. His name is Tom Aldershaw, and he is from the same province where I'm from in Ontario, Canada. And I'm going to ask Tom 4 questions, and he will answer them as I ask this question. Tom, are you there?
I am, Foster.
Well, thank you for coming on the call this afternoon. And, Tom, I'm going to ask you, how did you discover Immunotec, or how Immunotec discovered you, if you can share that with us?
I guess really when it came down to it, I knew Dr. Barry White. Dr. White introduced me to Immunotel and the Immunotec products. And it's been a journey. It's been a 10-year journey on the Immunotec products.
Fantastic. Now, during these 10 years, I also know that you've been very passionate about charitable work. How does Immunotec fit in your work right now?
Well, I guess there's several key factors, Foster, when it comes to my work. Probably one of the keys, I'm a late developer in life when it comes to the business part of Immunotec. And I believe when it comes to aging, I believe it's mind over matter. If I don't mind, it really doesn't matter. And I think there's several keys that fit into the passion that's been developed to help those that are in poverty or homeless. And I read at one stage John Maxwell's book, Intentional Living, and out of it comes a quote by Martha Stewart that I believe in, and it's, once you realize that you've identified a passion, invest in yourself, figure out what you need to know, what experience and expertise you need to develop to do the things you feel in your heart you will enjoy and sustain you both mentally and economically. Certainly another key driving factor is that if your lifestyle does not control your body, eventually your body will control your lifestyle. I've always, again, believed certainly in that part. And the other, I think, key phrase that I've had over the years that meant a lot to me was, again, I think it was the 25th year that Immunotec was in business, and they gave out, we purchased a medal that on it had a fusion of persistence, discovery, and dreams. That phrase in my life meant something to me. When it comes to the Immunotec business part and how it fits into my life, by 2026, I'm looking at earning probably $1 million for the Oldershaw Making the Difference Endowment Fund. And what has happened is over the years I've been, through various organizations, been subjected to and looking at trying to help the homelessness and individuals experiencing poverty. I just believe that people don't need to live that way and do not deserve to live that way. So what has happened is two things. Certainly the Immunotec products have given me the health and the vitality necessary to carry on at 76 years of age. The other thing that it's allowed me to do is we've set up the Oldershaw Making the Difference Endowment Fund, and that's really been guided by belief, passion, and the desire that every life has equal value. So that certainly has given me the passion to move. What happens is that to publicize the Oldershaw Making the Difference Endowment Fund, I'm able to do a ride. This is probably the 7th year for the ride. I've done up to a 450-kilometer 2-day ride. This year is a 200-kilometer 1-day ride. Again, rail trails, bicycle, key factors. And I really contribute the whole package to being healthy and the Immunotec products that I take. I take the full range of products. I've really had very few sick days over my lifetime, and really when I look at Dr. Bonas and the research that has gone into the product, I just find it phenomenal that if I look at it, Barry White has given me life and the opportunity to move forward.
Wow. Tom, without really cutting you, you have given me some numbers that is really, really getting my my nice bald head to even start growing some nice hair here. Let me make sure that I capture this correctly. You are 76. And if I do the math correctly, you are 21 years older than me, and you are talking about stuff that the average person would not be able to do. So you have done 450K in 2 days. This year, there's going to be 200K in 1 day. So let me ask you this to recap for me on this here. How would you describe the overall health benefits when it comes to taking Immunocal for you?
Again, I wish I could compare my life without it or my life with it. But when it comes to, obviously, a 76-year-old person having the vitality, the energy to push forward, I think it's phenomenal. And again, When I compare myself with other individuals of my age, I look at being, in many cases, an inspiration. Certainly, I believe that when it comes to health, it's a key. And I like to think that I've been given one health, and it's up to me to look after it.
Wow. Well, Tom, let me say this. I have a final question for you, but I'm going to make this comment because one of the things that I do, for me personally, there are areas that I work on a daily basis, and if I can mention three things very quickly, is the type of book that I read. Even if it takes 10 minutes a day that I read, I have certain books around me. Right now I'm reading a book by Jimmy Carter, and it's on faith. And there's a reason why I'm reading this book. It's not just for spiritual reasons, but I figure this older gentleman has lived longer than I am probably going to be blessed to live. Fortunately, I'm taking Immunotec, so I have a chance. But I believe that, for a fellow who's been without, his parents for the past 48 years, I like to hang around with mature people. So if there's somebody who can pass something on to me, I'll grab it. But since I don't get to see Jimmy Carter on a daily basis, I grab his book instead. But books is something that I take real delight. But there's something I call which is individuals that you meet and hang around with. And you inspire me so much because when I hear the age 76, and knowing what you do with the help of Immunotec and other things, I am just blown away. And, I have something that I call BIG. So B is book, and I is individuals that I spend time with, and G is, goals that I set for myself. And, I am setting certain goals for me personally to make sure that the choices that I make, both from the health point of view and from wealth building point of view, for the rest of my life is done with a certain intention. And I like that word and the phrase you use, intentional living. I just made note of that. I have a question for you, Tom, if you don't mind, and that is, what do you hope to accomplish in the years to come, if you don't mind sharing that with our audience today?
I can certainly share it, and part of it is a dream. I look at 2026 being a key. It allows me some 8 years to develop, but my vision for the Immunotec business, I can read out, and it goes something like this. To earn at least $1 million for the Oldershaw Making the Difference Endowment Fund, to help over 1.5 million new customers to enjoy health for life. And again, that's the goal is by 2026, to help develop 20 entrepreneurs with incomes over $1 million. To help develop at least 70,000 entrepreneurs earning $5,000 per month, to ship a minimum 2 truckloads of Immunocal Platinum per month to customers, and give 500,000 individuals the opportunity to run and lead their own business. That really is the vision that I work with. And part of it's the dream, but part of it is the fusion of persistence, discovery, and dreams. I look at really being able to help, and I've got several areas that I think are key. But again, when you look at this business and the fact that really you're giving people life, it's an opportunity that I don't think a lot of people realize it's in their hands.
Wow. Tom, you have given us a lot of meat this afternoon. I'm excited. Of course, you and I don't live too far from each other. And, when you talk about the dream, every one of us do have dreams. As a matter of fact, I have a small card that I put in my wallet. Every day is one of those dreams that I look at to help me move forward with everything that I do. I do silly things that just helps to remind me of things. Of course, you've seen my Mercedes. The license plate is Dream Big. There's no reason for me to dream small. I've made it this far to Canada from a small country in Ghana, West Africa, from a small town, not even a town, a village that I can tell you has less than 5,000 people. And, from the time I was about a minute old till the time that I was 16 years old that I left that town, there was no electricity, there was no running water, and thank God that the door opened for me to make it to the city, which is the nation's capital in Ghana, in Accra, and then a whole different journey began where I realized, my goodness, some people do live differently than others. So some of the dreams that you're talking about, these are not dreams that cannot be attained. As a matter of fact, being on this call this afternoon, when we opened the line, we were blessed to have Keith Hooper, who was kind enough for us to use this bridge. And when you look at some of the numbers that you talk about, he's one of the first people in our line of sponsorship who has probably opened this floodgate for us, that the opportunity trickled down to John Solider and eventually to our team. You have mentioned some numbers that I can tell you is not an unrealistic number, because there's a whole bunch of us that have been able to attain some of those goals and continue to strive for even bigger goals. So I'm praying and I'm wishing you the best, my friend, that the years to come will be celebrating by 2026. A whole bunch of things will happen, but I'm going to ask Keith Hooper to come on the line to close this call for us, if he may. Keith, are you still there with us?
I'm here, Foster. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Foster. Great information. In fact, more than that, great inspiration, knowledge. Thank you both for sharing that with us here on this 4th of July of 2018.
Thank you.
And as we look forward to 2026, we're looking forward to Tom reaching that goal. So hopefully everybody enjoyed today's call, enjoyed the information that's here, and we appreciate you all on this 4th of July. With that, Foster, thank you very much. Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Stay blessed, everyone. Take care.
Thank you,
Thank you.